Get Gutsy episode number 184 with Joe Gifford. Up your practice and up your glitter. Welcome to Get Gutsy. I'm your host, Jenny Fennig, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. A cutting-edge show blending business and spirituality, Get Gutsy serves up a potent blend of stories, lessons, and tips to help you make a massive impact in the world through your soul's work and your inspired life. No more going it alone, no more excuses. The world needs more brave women saying yes to leadership. Are you with me? Good. Let's get gutsy now. Joe, welcome to Get Gutsy.
Thank you for having me, Jenny. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yes, and thanks for staying up a little late. You know, on your time, you're in the UK, yes?
It's only 8 p.m, but I am going to have hands up and say that I am in gym jams because that's how I roll.
I am like you. My husband especially, he gets in his pajamas at like 6 o'clock. He's like,
dude,
I'm done.
I do.
Yeah, he totally does. Sometimes when I'm putting the kids to bed, I still have like my regular clothes on, and then I often will sleep for a few hours in those because I end up falling asleep putting them to bed. It's like, it's kind of cray. I'm in that, you know, my kids are, well, when this goes live, my oldest will be 9. My middle guy is 6.5, and my daughter is 3.5. And we're just in that kind of crazy bedtime. You know, they need us there, and I'm not trying to rush through that. 'Cause it's like they're only this age once, and you know, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. How old are your kids?
So my girls, Eva and Mia, they're twin girls, and they're 8.5 at the moment. And we have, we have the bedtime wrangle where, any one of us will end up in anyone's bed at any time. And I'm kind of loving that as well, because as you say, this doesn't last forever. And I really love, the magical cuddles and, oh, mummy, will you brush my hair before bed? I can read a story. And I'm like, so I too also fall asleep in someone's bed at some point.
Yeah, totally. It's just what it is. It's just like the reality of what it is. Okay. So why don't you tell our listeners more, like, what's your deal? What do you do? What's your work all about?
What's my jam? So, Hi guys. So I'm Joe Gifford, and my jam is all about creative thinking and content creation. So my lens on creating content for your business and on showing up online in a really crowded, sort of noisy marketplace is all about how to use creative thinking to stand out from the crowd, and how to also use that to find, new ways to work and ways to work that feel good to you. And so that is what I'm all about.
Okay, creative thinking. And why creative thinking? Like, how did you get there?
Okay, so my first career was graphic design, and I then sort of moved to be a new business development manager and senior designer. And the piece that I always loved the most in those roles was managing my teams and was doing the brainstorming part of new client briefs and all that stuff. And when I went self-employed 12 years ago now, and I started, running my own design agency, and I had a whole sort of portfolio career of copywriting, of lecturing. It's the piece that sort of runs throughout it all is the creative thinking angle. And what I see right now is, especially, with people working in the online space, is that there's more noise than ever before. And, we need to find new ways to stand out in crowded marketplaces and to really position ourselves in ways that are unique. And I see creative thinking as being such a key part in being able to do that. You can develop your own set of language, your own way of working. And, not only that, but in the tech landscape that we work in right now, the businesses are, everything is moving so fast, and we need to be able to adapt and to be agile and flexible. And that's where creative thinking comes in.
Yes, so much. Let's hunker down on this truth that you shared. There's more noise than ever before. Oh my God. Can I get
Can we just get a hell yes on that?
Yeah, like, can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? I was just saying this we're recording this at the end of 2017, it's going live early 2018. And oh my goodness, it's freaking loud out there. There's a lot of people talking. And sometimes it feels like they're all saying the same thing. I mean, doesn't it feel like it is more? It is more. You said you became self-employed 12 years ago. I became self-employed 10 years ago. It's like a different world. It's a different planet. It's a different planet now, right?
Oh my goodness. I went self-employed, probably like you, in the MySpace era, right? And it was all like, oh, new networking thing, new social networking thing. And, I was blogging back then still, and it was a very, very different landscape. And yeah, I mean, there's people, the access to a platform is now easier than ever before, isn't it? You can jump on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, a blog, whatever. And it's easier than ever before to have a platform and to get your message out. However, it does mean that you need to be mindful about how you are putting your message out, because other people are saying the same thing, and that's totally fine, because nobody else has your unique viewpoint and expertise and personality and all that stuff. There's still room for you, but we've got to amp you up a little bit.
Yes, we do need to amp you up, because there's just, like you said, it feels like everyone's kind of saying the same thing. So how do you suggest that people do amp up themselves? Like how is this accomplished?
Cool. One exercise that I walk my clients, my audience through is just a really simple one that just gets people back in touch with all those parts of themselves that you kind of forget are really relevant to what you're doing right now. For example, if you go right back to your hobbies as a kid, the first jobs you had, your education, all the life experience you've ever had, all the relationships you've had, all the travels you've done, all of that stuff gives you a unique lens, which nobody else has, that bespoke combination. So you can pull stories from those things, which will make you sound unique, because you are unique, right? And the other trick is to kind of latch onto your quirks and your weirdnesses and the bits that make you, and just turn them up in the way that you communicate, and really own those parts of you that make you different.
Yes. Own the parts of you that make you different. So what makes you different, Joe? Tell us all your funny, weird, awesome quirks.
What are my funny, weird, awesome quirks? Well, and this is something which I pull out loads in copy, in the way that I communicate, and I'm going to explain why. But so what makes me weird? Well, I'm a hyper-creative personality. I am someone who adores living life as large as I can, being a mum of 2 kids. So it's not unusual to find me in a kind of early morning rave. I'll start the morning full face worth of glitter, dancing my booty, and really kickstarting my day with some great vibes with like-minded people. I play the violin. I'm a book nerd. I'm a tech nerd. And if you mix all those things together, alongside being a mum of 2 amazing twin girls, you kind of get a picture of who I am. You get all these different facets of my personality. If you mix up like a face-painted, glittery nerd
yes.
with a bookworm and motherhood, you kind of get an idea of who I am.
Yes. I love the glitter. And, I was on your show, we were talking about, I had my rave days back in the day, and you were telling me you go to these early morning raves. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know about that. I don't think they have that where I live in
Jenny.
The Berkshires of Western Massachusetts, but I love the glitter, and I love being around like-minded people, and I just think it's so rad that you make that a regular part of your life. And even though you are a mom now, you're not like, well, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. You're like, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to dance and I'm going to feel that energy and be able to pour that excitement and exuberance into the people that you serve.
Yes, and you bring it home with you as well. Like I literally came back on the train last Tuesday from one of these and went, straight to the school run because my train was delayed, all covered in glitter, wearing some brightly coloured leggings, and my girls were so proud. They're like, yes, Mum's been dancing today. Hey, Mum, how was it? And and the other parents are like, And they're like, yeah, Mum went raving. How was it? You know, how were the raw snacks? How were your friends? Was everyone cool? And I'm like, yes, ladies, I want you to know that it's possible for you to work for yourselves, for you to create your, you know, your days and to show up how you want in life. And I love that in some small way, if me raving in the morning models that for them, awesome.
Yes, absolutely. That's super. I mean, I think that's so rad. So let's talk about more when you were younger. I want to go back to, you know, young Joe, little Joe. Tell me more about like, what is a highlight from your childhood, you know, pre-18, just something that, you know, you look back and like, that was such a powerful part of that time in your life and maybe has had an impact on kind of how you live now or what you do now.
Oh, tough. So there's quite a lot in childhood which as a grown-up I've been kind of unpacking as a kind of I can see why a lot of my health conditions, I currently jive with you know, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and endometriosis, all of which I must hands up and say are manageable, are doing really well thanks to a whole raft of tools, right? It's all good. But so as a child, I you know, sort of play was a massive part of my life. But I think what was really powerful for me was was having a mum who wasn't living her full potential, who felt that she couldn't in some way. And it's not to speak, you know, badly of my mum. I think it was the era. I think that she was coming out of the, you know, the wife stays home and cooks dinner for the husband's, you know, business colleagues, all that kind of thing. And so I saw someone who, you know, who couldn't / wouldn't, you know, live to her fullest potential. And I've taken that on board as I want to show my girls that you can, and I want to take advantage of the way that we can live and work now and run with it where perhaps she couldn't, you know.
Yeah, that resonates with me. It was a different time, you know, when we were growing up. There are a lot more opportunities, especially for women. I remember that too about my mom. You know, she didn't really she didn't have as many options when it came to work. And whatever she was doing, I didn't see her being super passionate about it, and it didn't like give her an anchor into the earth. And that was something I always said to myself, I'm going to find something I love to do, and I'm going to do it so that I'm not, you know, putting so much pressure on those around me to give me meaning, you know. And so that was a big that was a big driver. And I think something that we bring to the table, you know, you and I both work. People are tuning in right now. They work, you know, they have businesses, or they're in some kind of work right now. Maybe they want to grow their sacred work, or they want to take their leadership to another level. And as women, sometimes, especially as moms, like we can go through the guilt around, you know, I'm not there every moment of the day for my kids or what have you. And I saw, it was a quote by Kristen Bell. And I think it might be the wife of Rob Bell. I'm not even sure like the source of where. I'm like, I think he's talking about this woman, Kristen Bell. I don't know if you know Rob Bell. He's a spiritual teacher. He's a really cool guy. Lives in LA. Okay. Yeah, really great work. Podcast, bunch of books, all that. And her message was something like, you know, she refuses to feel any guilt around her working, and she knows that it's sending a message to her kids that, you know, women can work, you know, women can produce, and we can make an impact with our gifts and our talents. And it was just good to hear the way that you said that and kind of look back on the past and how things were, and, you know, moving forward, how things can be.
You know, I think it's such an important message to give to our children, and to be kind of our own, you know, role models, and to really say, hey, how do I want to shape my life, and to show that, you know, sort of my kids that that's possible. And nothing makes me happier than knowing that the tiniest actions have an impact on my kids. Like that, you know, they'll quite often go to bed with their journals and, you know, be writing like a sort of gratitude list. I'm like, yes, that small thing has rubbed off, and then, you know, and they know what gratitude is, and to be thankful, and to look at their stuff, and they know about dreaming and bringing to life what we want. And I'm like, cool, because, you know, I would have loved to have had those tools from a young age, you know?
Yes. Like we are teaching what we've had to learn the hard way, and then we're sharing that with our family, with our clients, you know, with those who stumble upon our work and are here to learn from us. What, Joe, what would you say has been like your biggest lesson as an entrepreneur? Again, you've been self-employed for over a decade. Is there something that's just like, oh my gosh, you know, if I would have known this going in, it would have made things easier? Or just that, dude, that big, it might not be just one, it could be many.
The biggest one, Jenny, is why didn't I start investing in myself a lot earlier? So when I first went self-employed, I quit my lovely design job where I'd kind of manifested this amazing role, and, you know, on the surface of it, everything was amazing, but I knew inside it wasn't right. And so, you know, that was a big thing for me, and I quit, and I still had this, I didn't quite believe in myself enough to start investing in myself, to even start with like a $10 ebook or a tiny course, and then, you know, work my way up, which I then did years later, of course, and then started having coaches and masterminds and all that stuff, which, as we know, accelerates growth so much.
Yeah.
So definitely what I would say to sort of younger me now is like, dude, start investing in yourself now. It reaps benefits.
Yeah. So how long did it take you in your entrepreneurial journey for you to figure that out?
Literally about 7 years.
So you kind of just like cobbled it together on your own. You're like, I'm going to do it, like white knuckle through.
I was white knuckling through to cut myself some slack. I suppose I had the twins, you know, within there as well. So I'd kind of, you know, white knuckled. I'd, you know, built something, then had the kids and redesigned it all. So it kind of, it changed models, it changed scope. But again, you know, I think, yeah, probably about 5 years in, I started having a coach on board again, and started getting intentional with stuff. But I could have shortcut some growth by going a lot earlier.
Yes. I love that. And as you're talking, I think they'll get the picture. I have 3 kids, and there's like this like window of time that my husband picks up my daughter, and I homeschool my sons, and he picks her up from school, and then they have like, he always does this on Wednesdays where he then like bring them home before they have to leave again. And they all like want to crash my door down because they hear me in here talking, but I'm not talking to them. And then they go off and they go to their chess game. So I'm going to just yell at them, hi guys, I love you. See you soon. Oh, he may be coming across to my other.
I love it.
This is like hashtag real life. I see some feet. Yeah, let me just pause this for one moment, Joe, and answer my door. Okay, we are resuming. That was, you know, I think as parents we have to recognize that too. It's like there's many days when they don't want to bang down my door and talk to me. Yeah. But now he does, and you know, they all have their moments when they just really need me, and I pride myself on just keeping it real. And I never wanted this podcast to be perfect. Some people are like, what if I make a mistake or whatever? I'm like, they're like, will you edit it out? I'm like, well, if it's like really disastrous, yes, but otherwise no, because that's real. And I think what prohibits a lot of women, especially from, you know, following their path and following that dream, is that they are so petrified of not being perfect and not being like ultra polished that they don't make a move. And it's, you know, you just can't. You have to just get out there, imperfect, go. Anyone who can't handle the fact that you're not perfect just isn't your person. They're not your people. Like, your people are going to love that you are wearing glitter on your face and, you know, have a child banging on your door.
They do. Totally. And you know what? It's so real. And in fact, you know, yesterday one of my you know, chronic fatigue was flaring up a little bit. So I was, you know, and what's amazing when you work for yourself is that you can redesign your diary, and my team was holding the fort. It's all amazing. So, you know, went to bed, but I did have a call in the afternoon. So I was like, cool, I'm going to do it from bed, you know, headphones on, audio. And all my clients are like, you know, rather than being shocked and abhorred that I'm doing this, they're encouraged because they're like, yes, you're still doing it. It's real life. You're, you know, and they seek solace in being able to sort of design a life where it works, you know? And I think it is important to keep it super real.
Yes, super real is the way to do it. So how do you now work with your people? Like, in terms of your business, what are your revenue streams? Give us a sense of the business landscape.
Cool. So the revenue streams right now is on the higher end. I'm a content director and kind of, really integrated with some of my sort of VIP clients. I'll be there with them working on their content strategy, sort of working with their team. And I also have a content agency now. So we take over loads of content, repurposing and creation. So there's that side of it. I then have a mini mastermind where I work with people for 3 months on really how to kind of ignite their brilliance and really reconnect with that part of them that, we were talking about that makes them them. And then we look at ways to turn it up with ease and flow and creativity. And then I have some lower end products, which is, just kind of, training to create some really key pieces of content. So really there's a content agency, some group work, and some, in quotes, passive.
Passive, in quotes, passive. Yeah, how do you, I'm just curious, let's dive into that, quotes, passive products. How are those sold? Like, do people just find them on your website when they opt into your list? Are they getting those, like, kind of in a sequence? It's just an area I'm always curious, like, how does that work? Because sometimes people say, oh, it's so low price. Like, you're just going to sell so many of them because it's, X dollars, which is, a fraction of what it is to work with me privately or be in one of these groups. So I'm just curious how you have that set up in your business.
Sure. So at the moment that's set up, with the sequence. Yes. So like a funnel really. So they'll come down and opt in on Facebook, usually through, some warm, sort of retargeted ads. So people that have maybe seen my work, have viewed some videos, they'll get resent to an opt-in. They'll be sent some training. And they have the option then to buy, this piece of training from me. Which is like the lower end, product. And then from there, what I find is that people then move throughout, the kind of experience with me. They tend to kind of jump either straight into one-to-one, or the content agency stuff, or they want some group work together. So it kind of starts off with that first one and they work their way up. But it's definitely ads driven at the moment.
Yes. Okay, cool. Thanks for walking us through your process. It's always fun to kind of peek. How do people have this thing going on in their business?
And it's not, it's always one which I'm tweaking and testing because I you see the stories and you think, really? What? So you just plug it in over there and you turn the numbers up and it's all, it's all kind of golden. And no, not always. You've got to tweak the copy. You've got to sort of tweak so many things. So at the moment, it's working pretty well, and we're always testing the numbers and making tweaks here and there. But then there's a lot to be said as well for personal connection and just having conversations with people. And I do get lots of referrals now for both the passive and for the one-to-one stuff, which is that's what I'd want more than anything, really.
Referrals. Oh yeah, referrals are great because they're already coming in feeling like they can trust you and they have a sense of who you are. And depending on what you're selling, the last year especially for me, I found that I was feeling this desire for more of that like deep connection and, less volume and more depth and really getting in there with somebody, getting to know them and having my programs to be able to, accomplish that. But it's funny that we go through different seasons and cycles with the work and with the way that we design the business. If I were to look back at my business 5 years ago, it's so different than how it is now. Has yours gone through those evolutions too, in terms of how you design it? And
yeah, mine has gone through the, sort of cobbled together, okay, we've quit the job, what's going on, let's explore and expand to a more designed model. And it's changed. At first I was running my sort of design agency and doing travel writing and blogging on the side, and then I was teaching, and it's kind of gone through so many different things. Like I redesigned it and burnt it down. I think that it's part of the process is to keep refining and questioning and seeing whether it works for you. And there was definitely a stage after I'd had the ladies when the girls were about sort of 1 or 2, and there was the old industry that I was very much involved with with my design agency was hair and beauty and fashion, and I had a ton of clients in in that industry, and I was really well known as, I was kind of one of the go-to designers and sort of social media consultants for that industry. And I stepped away from it because that industry required me to, be very hands-on, in person with the clients a lot, and to travel a lot, and to be away, and to go to kind of evening events a lot. And it didn't fit with what I wanted for my family. So I had the gutsy move, if you like, of saying, do you know what? I know I need to apply all that I know with content creation and with creative thinking, and work with people who want to work in the way that I do, which is remotely and creatively, and in ways that are much more in alignment with who I am now.
Yes. Oh my God. It's great that our listeners take that in, because we're going to go through evolution, especially if we have kids where they are, those baby years are very different than when they're teens. And like, I have a daughter who can't get herself dressed, and there's just like physical demands on me at this stage that aren't going to be there in a few years. And I've really had to like remind myself of this over and over and over again. And I think, especially as this episode is airing in the first month of 2018, this is the time that we're all really taking stock. I know I am anyway, of, okay, what just went down? What went down in this previous year? And what about that isn't working like it used to, or never worked? And you got to get honest with yourself and say, what do I want to do to shift that, to change that? Even if, for so-and-so it works freaking awesome and they love it, and you try and you're like, this sucks. Like, I hate this. It's so important, especially with the internet. So easy to like compare yourself to the internet Joneses and feel like, well, I've got to do that because they're doing it. But it's just not right for you for whatever reason. How do you rectify that when you realize that for yourself, Joe?
Well, when I realized that wasn't right. Well, do you know what? I think, now as part of my practice, I'm asking myself those questions every month, which is, what's working, what's not working, what do I want more of, what do I want less of? And how I rectified it at the time, when I was really just feeling like this is not working, this just feels really wrong. And I struggled for a while, because there was, all the people who were my, colleagues from the industry, like a lot of them were still living in the city, like a lot of them, hadn't had children, and I was comparing myself to people with a very different lifestyle, people that, you should never compare yourself to anyone anyway, but in the mind space I was in at the time, I was very much doing that. So I just took a big sort of deep breath and was like, this is not right. I need to trust that I need to just have some space, work it all out, and come back. And so I basically quit that whole lucrative industry and just said, nope, that's not right. It's not right. And it came back, and I mean, at the time it felt like ages, but it was probably literally like a month of just some, some headspace, which afforded me just that space to breathe, to reconnect with myself and go, right, let's start tinkering again. What feels good? And from there, I started my first ever little blogging course, I think, and it was like $50. And I was testing the water with material, and everyone seemed to love my tone of voice around content creation. I was like, let's build and grow, And so from there, it snowballed, and it was good.
I like it. What feels good? And you tinkered, and you just gave yourself some space to experiment, which is critical.
And again, I'd be very different now around that, because I wouldn't leave it so long, because I'm asking myself those questions all the time. And B, I wouldn't let myself get to that stage now where I was really unhappy and struggling. It's like, no, I'd be much more, I've grown as a person as well, which is like another wonderful thing, which being an entrepreneur does for you. It sort of catapults you into the sort of personal development world, doesn't it? You're there on the ledge every day, testing yourself, in tune with yourself, and say, now I would have made a tweak earlier. And but then, sort of conversely, recently when I started the content agency stuff, I hadn't realized I was sitting in resistance to that for ages. And you know, it was only when I said, heck, you know, fine, let's do this, and clients are flying in left, right and centre with no sales page, with no, you know, nothing but, hey guys, Joe's doing it now. And I was like, oh, maybe I was resisting that for a little while. And it came from somewhere in my head. I was thinking about it being like, you know, like my design agency, as if everyone's going to need me all the time. They're going to need me to do such and such, and, you know, need me to go to all these meetings. No, it's a different Joe now. It's a different model of business. I've designed it and, you know, and taken the helm. And so now, you know, it's very different to kind of keep tweaking and evolving with a different mindset and a different version of me, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. I like what you said too about it wouldn't take you so long to figure out that, you know, it wasn't working. You're doing those regular check-ins. So I want everyone listening in to, you know, can commit to that for this year, regular check-ins with yourself. You don't have to get to the end of the year to be like, oh my God, that was horrible. Like I was avoiding it. It's just, you know, to be more honest with yourself. That's a big piece of my 2018 is being truthful. Who must I be to get what I want? Truthful. So to admit, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to do this. I'm going to shift that, and maybe I'm going to disappoint people or whatever, but that's okay, because you'd rather disappoint others than disappoint yourself. Because I found I am my own worst critic. Like nobody can be as mean to me as I can.
Oh, I hear that.
Yeah, I know exactly what I can say to myself that'll like really, you know, slay me. And so if I'm worried about what other people are going to think, I'm like, and if it's at the sacrifice of my own happiness, my own peace of mind, I've learned, no, I'm going to, you know, walk through this, and we can do it with as much kindness and grace and, you know, compassion as we can. But, you know, this is the path that we're on. When we commit to being creatives, entrepreneurs, parents, we've got to, you know, get honest, and that honesty will break us into, you know, bust us into new levels of our sacred work and what we're here to, you know, put out there. So what advice do you have for those who are tuning in and they are experiencing, you know, fear, they're experiencing resistance as they're, you know, hitting up against that next level? Like, oh, I know there's this new thing is going to unlock for me, but I'm freaking out. What advice do you have for them, Joe?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I'd say, you know, be as loving, you know, to yourself as you can right now. And for me, those moments of kind of up leveling and resistance always manifest in a physical thing. So it's often a migraine, it'll be, you know, the fatigue flaring up, all that sort of stuff. And so I always say to myself, all right, Joe, just, you know, it's, you know, you have to move through this to move up. It's okay. Breathe and move through, move up. This is where the work is, right? So that resistance you're feeling, that fear, is where the work is. Next up, I surround myself with awesome people who will uplift you, who will hold space for you when you're having the ugly cry sessions, when you're doubting you can never do it, all that stuff. Surround yourself with your personal cheerleading squad who get you, who believe in you. And I would really say kind of up your practice, you know, up your meditation, up your, you know, walks in nature, up all the stuff, you know, the dancing, the, like, you know, whatever it is that makes you feel awesome. Make sure there's plenty of that in your day. Like, sing out loud, you have kitchen karaoke, raise your vibes. And then just keep investing in yourself. Seek out ways that you can learn and improve all the time so that you can really shortcut, you know, that period of pain and resistance. And just bear in mind that, you know, when you feel like that, it's like a springboard for the next bit. So you're already on your way.
Yes, all of it. I'm like, yes, saying, oh yes. Joe, where can our listeners find you? Where can they find you?
You can find me on, you can find me on joegifford.co. You'll go there. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. It's all on my site. So joegifford.co, and come say hi.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Joe, what are you most excited about as this new year is here? What are you most excited about?
Oh my goodness. I am excited about finally bringing my book to fruition, which I've been in resistance to for about 3 years. Okay. So I am moving forward with that and just growing my beautiful agency and my team and stepping into a leadership role with more guts.
Yeah. What's your book about?
It's the Brilliance Ignition Process, which is about, how to ignite your brilliance and really amp up your creative thinking as part of your business DNA. I've been sitting on this one for years, Jenny. It's time.
It's time. It's time. Do you have another book out or other books out, or is this going to be first book, baby?
No. That's the one that's coming out. Yeah.
That's it. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going back in time because, gosh, when this goes live, it'll be 3 years after my first book came out. Mine came out in January of 2015. And it is a labor of love. I mean, it's intense because there are a gazillion other things that seem like a bigger priority, and so it's easy for that book to get pushed to the back burner. You're like, oh, I'll get to you. But you really have to commit. It's like carve it out. For me, you talk about, investing in your growth. And that's what I did. I hired a book writing coach, and it was like a significant investment, kick my ass. And that was the only thing. That was the only way it was going to get done for me, because it was just all these other things were in my face, and I, that was it, and that's what I needed. And then I needed to take a breather after I finished writing, the core of the book, and then get my breath again, and then hire a book launch, strategist. And then it got out there, and it's going to be so worth it. There'll be times when you feel like you can't do it if you're anything like me, but it'll be so rad. And I'm so excited to hear about it, and, keep us posted. Love to celebrate
for sure
you on our show and all that good stuff.
You're lovely. Thank you so much. Lovely. Thank you. It's great.
Yes. All right, everybody, go to joegifford.co. And, my big takeaway from this show is up your practice. Like that was, I draw arrows on my paper because I take notes throughout all these conversations, and then I'll have a highlighter and I circle things, and I go and I name the episodes. And that, when you said that, it was like, whoa, all these bells are ringing and birds were flying around.
Up your practice and up your glitter. That's what I'm going to say. That's my mic drop moment.
Oh yeah, I'm going to add that part. Okay, and up your glitter. Yeah, that is it right there. From one glitter sister to another. Thank you so much for being here, Joe. You are amazing. Thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in to Get Gutsy. We have so many more wonderful episodes coming out for you in 2018. So hold on to your hats and get ready for the ride of your life. This is Jenny Fennig sending you so much love, light, and faith as you get gutsy. I will see you next time.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and you're listening to Get Gutsy with Jenny Fennig. Gutsy leaders unite and ignite.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Get Gutsy as much as I enjoyed creating it for you. Are you responsible for leading and growing your spiritual business? If so, I have a free tool for you that will help you spread your message like wildfire. It's called the Sacred Marketing Puzzle, and it's a one-page PDF guide that simplifies the often mysterious and confusing world of marketing. When you use sacred marketing tools to amplify your message, you'll provide huge value to your tribe and grow your business. What are you waiting for? Go to jennyfennig.com/puzzle to get yours instantly. That's jennyfennig.com/puzzle. Gutsy leaders, unite.